Welcome to the Hidden Gems of the Steam Sale video series. In order to qualify for this video series, you need to either have a thriving single-player community or at least a PvP community that we can talk about and discuss, because overall there are tons of games on Steam. A lot of them are hidden gems, but they tend to die off a bit quickly, and Armor Brigade isn't one of those games. It truly stands out because it has a thriving community, it has tons of mods and community-created content, and overall it is a blast to play, even without all of those features. In today's video, we're going to discuss all the things that make it unique. What Armor Brigade is, it's a real-time tactical game that focuses on replayability as well as realism. What that means and what I'm going to focus on is the replayability within the game and not so much the realism, because I have tons of videos and tutorials really explaining all of that and hammering out all of those facets of the game. In this game, though, we are going to talk about all the factions that come with it and all the content that you can play in the base game. It's currently $23.99 USD. It also has 3 DLCs. I own all 3 DLCs. Full disclosure, I have bought this game twice. I bought it once, returned it, bought it again for $23.99, and I've kept it ever since. I have around 70 to 80 hours within the game now, and I have tons of YouTube content on it. So if you just want to check it out, just browse the channel. If you enjoy military strategy, tactics, and doctrine and like seeing applied to strategy games, I guarantee this is the channel for you. So make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell and make sure you hit that join, because it truly helps out the channel. So now let's just dive right into this. Here's all the missions that come with the game if you have all the DLCs as well as the main game. Overall, the one mission that always stands out to me is Twin Valleys. If you haven't played that mission and you own the game, you really need to stop what you're doing right now, fire up Armor Brigade and play Twin Valleys, because it is one of the best missions within this game, and it's one of the missions everyone in the community talks about. You can create your own missions within this game. You can download missions, you can download scenarios, maps, full campaigns as a full custom campaign creator. It also has a full single mission creator. Next, you can also edit the database and change all the stats of the units. You can go from having regular mortars to napalm mortars to cluster mortars. Overall, just in the base game alone, you get radios, napalm, weather effects, terrain fires, illumination rounds, smoke mortars. You get on-map artillery, air-to-air combat, air-to-ground combat, helicopters, tanks. All these weapon systems span 27 years of the Cold War, and it includes so many nations that you can play as, and I highly suggest you pick this game up. The next thing we're going to check out is we're going to just briefly talk about the mission editor, the database editor. The game's super easy to mod. It has a very detailed manual. I've gone through it. I don't know if a lot of YouTubers talk about it or content creators, but I spent a lot of time in the manual deciphering what's talked about and creating tutorials for it. So if you just like to read the manual or just want to learn and understand for yourself, it's definitely a manual for you to check out. Under new game, we're going to go to generate mission. This is where we can run through all our missions and we can generate one of our own ones. So here you see all these maps I had. I recently created a video on all the community created content. It's one of my more successful videos. Make sure you check that out. And here we can just look at some of these maps, but overall these are mostly the community created ones. If we start over here, these are the developer created ones: the Ardennes, Fort Irwin, the Fulda Gap, Northeast Italy. This is my Italy map that I've been editing and creating scenarios for. The Northern German Plains, the Panzer region, and Southeast Finland. And then everything beyond that is just basically community created content. And here you have Gettysburg. And then we're going to focus on Goslar. This is one of the community created maps. I would like to showcase these maps for you, but overall I think it's better that we check out one of the developer created ones, because that's mainly what this video is about right now, is just discussing developer created content. And then we can just kind of find a location that we want to do battle, have a good old time. And overall, I really, really, really enjoy doing this. And it's one of the reasons that keeps me coming back to this game, is that I can just play it, and I can play it with one hand while there is a keyboard. Honestly, you only need a mouse to issue orders. And if you want to do anything else like the hotkeys, you can just memorize those on your own. You also have sector sizes, and then you can just create your own campaigns as well. But we're just going to demonstrate creating a mission right now. And then here you have the U.S. Army as well as the USSR. The main base campaign comes with several factions. I'm going to get those faction names for you, and I'm also going to tell you what DLCs the game comes with as well. So, give me one moment. All right, so it comes with 7 basic factions. You have USA, you have the Soviet Union, West Germany, East Germany, UK, Finland, and Poland. Your DLCs are Yugoslavia, France, Italy, the Czech Republic, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Overall, I've used a lot of those factions. There's also a Faction Plus mod that adds Australia, Vietnam, People's Liberation Army, Arvin, the North Vietnamese, and then you can download that Hamlets of Vietnam map and just conduct battle and like a combined arms assault in Vietnam. Like, who doesn't want to like simulate that? And I actually did that earlier. So here we're going to be the U.S. Army. We're going to take on the USSR. We're in 1983, relatively early in the Cold War. We do have some A-10s that we're going to send to combat. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a quick little combined arms assault. And this is a 2D map that takes place in a 3D world. We do have an ISO view, but you can't really see the battle in 3D. It's mainly 2D. So all that battle space is all that battle's being conducted is in the 2D environment. Here we have our basic points. This isn't really a tutorial about how to create things. I'm doing a full mission. Here's all our different types. As you see, like if you click on the mech infantry platoon, they have ATGMs, anti-tank guided missiles. They have a 25 millimeter M242 chain gun with a max range of 3,500 meters, and the ATGM with 3,500 meters, almost 2-mile firing distance. A coax MG with 1,000 meter, almost a 1,000 meter effective range. You have tanks, you have mortars, you have artillery, you have recon units you can bring in the battle. You can scout and just overall have a fun time just creating a fun little combined arms operation. We have M1 tanks with their 105 millimeter cannon. You have the coax, you have the heavy machine gun as well. If we go over to the aircraft, we have Corsairs, F4 Phantoms, A-10s that provide fire support and CAS. This one has a Vulcan rocket launcher, cluster bombs. This A-10 has just a cluster bomb with a Gatling air-to-air missiles. We're going to bring them along with us, and then we're going to our mechanized infantry platoon, and then we're going to dive right into the scenario. It's going to bring up. Then you can actually turn this into a WeGo game if you want to do round length right here disabled, and you want to kind of play turn by turn. You could take a bit of even a more slower pace and just play as a WeGo. So their turn goes, your turn goes, their turn goes, which even slows down the combat a bit more, makes it more playable, makes it more tactical, makes it more fun, more cool. All right, and then if we zoom out, as you see, so we're going to zoom out real fast. We're going to bring our mechanized infantry platoon over here. We're going to bring our main battle tanks over here, and here's where our main battle is going to be taking place. Right, a relatively small area. This battle is going to be extremely quick. We have some small urban combat right here. We have 2 objectives that we need to secure. And then we're going to take a quick look at that 3D battle space right here. And as you see, there's buildings, there's 2-story, 1-story. We can take a look at this as relatively flat plains. There's trees, there's all kinds of information. We can check line of sight with the line of sight tool if that's something you desire to do as well. There's also a way to mark, so we could like draft out our plan if we wanted our main battle tanks to move in a wedge formation just forward, so we know that our main fire element or our direction of fire is basically going to be like that. So this is the main area our units are going to be looking, and then we're going to set up a good little defensive line in this area. So this is our main objective. We move in a wedge formation. We know that in a wedge formation, these will be our fire sectors, and this is basically the direction our main tanks will be looking. Then we have right here our mechanized infantry platoon that can move to secure this southern objective right here. We know there's a small little open area, possibly could be manned by recon platoon. So what we're going to use these trees as cover. So we just draw the line that we really want to go. Then we need to cross this open area. We don't really know where the line of sight is right there, but we could say, okay, we're relatively safe. So they're actually free to cross this area right there and then move and dismount once they get into the town. So we grab our mark and we say we go all the way to town. Here we dismount with the letter D. If I could draw a D, and then this would be our new objective right there. Then we dismount and we just begin engaging units, take cover, and try and hold those two areas. We turn mark off. We can take a look at the different types of terrain. We can see all kinds of things. There's also on-map artillery, off-map artillery, cluster artillery, cluster bombs, all kinds of fun little things. So let's go into some of the features in this game. We can talk about our formation. Like we said, we wanted to go into a wedge. So here we have that wedge. We have that, it leans more of an echelon left. So there's more firepower over here on this left side. So ideally if we could change that wedge, we'd kind of want him more on the right, because I don't really feel like there's going to be units coming from that fire area. So we could go more with an echelon right. And what that does is it changes basically our fire sector to more like this, and not so much how it was before. We're going to maintain this column right here. We don't really need to do anything special with this. We could do SOPs to dismount those units if we wanted to, but really, realistically, it's almost a mile to that objective. While we would lose some units in combat, I don't really want to drop those units off a mile away from the objective because it will be a long time before they get into the battle. And we're going to push all the way through. We're going to hit start. The battle is going to start. We begin a brief little recon phase. We see there's infantry, there's mechanized vehicle, there's mechanized vehicles. This echelon right was a good little formation, as you see. We're going to clear those fire sectors that we know that we assume their general direction is going to look. We clear that fire sector as well. And we know they're moving toward this initial objective, and then these units are going to follow along this path. That's what we know they're going to do, because that's what we've assigned them to do. And one thing you'll make note of is that, turn mark off, is that this game has command timelines. So you're basically, there's HQ units that can kind of speed up that timeline, but if we wanted to assign this unit a different path from here, so if we were to right click once more, you can see that there's another 30 seconds before that order would execute. So what would happen is if this unit was right here where this orange arrow is, it would take them 30 more seconds before they would execute this move arrow. But we really don't want that, so we're going to delete that last waypoint. And as you see, there's several different types of commands you can give all your units. We can also give them different SOPs or standard operating procedures. Down here we have path find, soft target, hard target, rate of fire. We've spotted our first ground unit. We can't really identify him yet. We do begin engaging. Looks like, what is this? We're going to do a quick vehicle identification, a PT-76B recon. It looks like they were reconning up on this northern end, so maybe that wedge formation was really good because we weren't really expecting anyone up there. So maybe the AI was prioritizing that cover right there, or just forward spawning those recon units, but they were easily dealt with our M1 tanks. Back to our standard operating procedures, we can use main armament, we have them seek cover, we can unload on contact, or we can just use a smoke generator if we begin getting into combat and we want to create a bunch of cover for our units. Everyone's moving slowly to the battle. You can also talk about all the different realism factors in this game. If we click on this, we can see their maximum range, their night vision, their thermals, their in place time, aim time, time to fire. They're different types. They're good against hard targets, air targets. They have kinetic armor. Their max target speed is 50 MPS. Their signature is 360%. Down here, it gives us our accuracy. So at 3,000 meters, our 105 is only accurate up to 40%. We have thermal imaging, a smoke generator, and nuclear, biological, chemical protection, and excellent survivability. We have lots of fire raining down on our unit. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our smoke generator on, and we're going to watch that in action. If that smoke starts going off, we're going to turn our SOPs on, unload on contact. We don't want to just lose a bunch of random infantry. Alright, units continue to move into position. HQ contact 60%. We did lose one platoon as well as one infantry fighting vehicle, which is unfortunate. We continue to move to that objective. Ideally, we would like these units to dismount fairly quickly. So what we're going to do, I feel like we're within a few hundred meters. We're going to order them. We're going to have them unload. I think that's a relatively fair thing to do, especially at this range. We can move through these buildings, and we can begin assaulting anyone that comes across us. Overall, we do know there is a high level of contact in this general vicinity. We're going to get our A-10s on standby. They should be here within 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Alright, units are dismounted. They're going to begin advancing up to these tree lines. If we take a look to see what the weapon systems these units have, we can click on this arrow. We have LMGs, the Law, and overall we really need to be within 60 meters or 120 meters. We have hand grenades, a 40mm launcher, all kinds of weapon systems that we could use in combat. We're going to try and get all of these units in place, in cover, so they can utilize those weapon systems. Alright. With this first objective secure, we're going to do a quick line of sight check, which is really important to this operation. We really need to crest this hillside right here and begin engaging units on the other side. So we're going to stand by. We're actually going to move just a bit further up. A little dangerous in my opinion. We still have 3 minutes until air support's online. Everyone's getting ready to move. I don't really want to press forward with our main infantry assault until our infantry is in place. So let's see how this goes. We do have explosions going off down here. We could go to ISO and see what that looks like in that tree line engaging our main battle tank. So what we're going to do is we're going to move these IFBs a bit forward like they're currently doing. See if we can get eyes on. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if we can. Tanks are rotating and pushing forward. M1s are going to make light work of that, and just like that, we have a T-55 on deck. We instantly begin engaging it with our M2 IFB. I believe this has no damage, but what does he have? He does have an ATGM, and he did get that ATGM out, and they did trade blows right there. All right, we do have heavy contacts right there. We have no line of sight for our tanks. These units do need to push a little bit forward. All right, we're going to advance our M1s because there's a massive concentration of troops right there. Another T-55 moving into position. Ideally, I don't think we're going to hold this position that well. ATGM out, easily destroyed. All right, fantastic. Another T-55 on deck, continuing to push forward. All right, we have lots of smoke in that area. Lots and lots. All right, engaging with this 30mm cannon or 25. ATGM out, pops the turret, standard, just like overseas. Lots of turret popping going on. Ammunition cooking off. This unit could be caught in a bit of a blast area. Ooh, and there's that secondary cook-off. That's fantastic. Battlefield heating up. Fog of war is setting in. Overall, we're having a grand old time. 3 IFBs down all. We only lost 1 infantry platoon. 2 more. Put 3, those ATGMs to work. Destroyed 3 T-55s. We are moving to engage this unit, which is in this position. All right, there we go. We have a combined arms little assault, BTR-60 Papa Bravo, moving up on our position with a motorized rifle platoon. Should easily be able to destroy that. We have an A-10 coming in 53 seconds. We did easily, and just like that, high explosive instantly destroyed that BTR-60. All right, we are real close combat right here. Absolutely really close. Turret slowly rotating towards us. He needs to put that ATGM into the side of that tank. Otherwise, we're just going to have him pop smoke, see if he can obscure himself. Smokes out. No damage. Lots of combat going on right here. Getting fairly intense. Oh, this is going to be good. It is looking really good. I don't see anything wrong right here. We instantly destroyed all of those units. But look at how this battlefield's like turning out. Like it's going absolutely crazy. Back to map. Let's see what we get. And the OBS actually froze. So we're actually going to call it right there. Sorry guys, you missed that. That absolutely airstrike. But this OBS just is not working for me right now. So sorry about that, but the video is still going up. Peace, like, comment, subscribe.